All right, shalom and good morning. Boaz here. Let me tell you something. Friendship and boundaries. We have to understand that in friendship, you must understand that there are even boundaries within that friendship. And I know that this flies over the head of a lot of people. But if you've been living any length of time, and you have been fortunate enough to develop real friends, because I talk about over and over again, real friends, real skills, real assets, real relationships. If you have been alive for any length of time and you haven't developed real friendships, you're in a pretty bad state as a person, because there's 8 billion people on the face of planet Earth going on, and if you have not been able to develop good, solid relationships, then you have to really examine yourself, examine the quality and character of individual that you have become. Because a lot of people, they don't want to reflect. They don't want to look at themselves and ask these cold, hard questions. But back to the notion of friendship and boundaries. Even in friendships, they have boundaries. I'll give you a perfect example. I've had friends that I've known for over 20 years now. And one of my friends, I was the best man at his wedding. They all watch my YouTube channel. But I know that there's certain things that even with friendship and I love, now it's not something that, because see, this is where discernment comes into play. Just because you know something about a friend, or just because you may have some information that you may want to offer or impart onto that friend, it doesn't mean that that friend is either willing or able at that point in time to receive it. And again, this is where discernment comes into play. You have to know your friend, or study your friend, or study people enough to know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. And knowing when to raise up an issue, or to keep or stay your peace, or even to know how to raise an issue, how to back down. People don't know how to do these things in this day and age, and thereby destroying friendships. A lot of things could be avoided if people just knew how to engage, how to deliver a message, how to back down in certain situations. I'll give you another perfect example. Rich man and poor man become friends. They go on to be friends for many years, and then after a while, poor guy attempts to correct the rich guy on his personal finances. How do you think that correction is going to go? How do you think that correction is going to go? Now, mind you, they've been friends for many years. However, the poor guy, at the end of the day, he's still poor. The rich guy knows that in spite of them being friends, the poor guys make poor financial decisions. Now, you can't even save a friend from themselves. You can't save somebody from themselves. You can attempt to part wisdom. And this is why, it's a beautiful thing for somebody to see the mannerism of your lifestyle and to say, hey, because sometimes you can just live a truth and have that friend see it, thereby imparting a certain degree of wisdom to them so that you may wake them up. See, you got to have a certain level of discernment, even about friends, to know how to approach things, how not to approach things. Because if you do it wrong, you can destroy that friendship. Now, a lot of people, probably, they don't get it, they don't understand it. And that's fine, all well and good. But, I value my friendships. And within friendships, again, there are boundaries, lines that you should not cross in terms of how you're dealing with things. Let me tell you, you got to know and you got to discern, because, in this day and age, people's discernment is so off, it ain't funny. It is drastically off, because if you don't know your friend, if you don't know the boundaries, if you don't know where you are, if you don't know these things, and you think yourself to be something that you're not actually, you can make a fatal mistake. You can make a fatal move and destroy a friendship based on your hardiness, based on your pride, based on your lack of discernment and knowing your place. Sometimes you got to stay your place, like the rich man and the poor man. You got to stay your place. You got to know when to deal with certain situations, how to engage certain situations, even in friendship, especially in friendship. It's sad. It really is sad. The spirit of discernment is so off. I mean, there's certain things that I may have noticed, whether it's from a friend or from people that I know, that may be off, that I may have viewed as off. Everything that is lawful is not expedient. Just because it's lawful to do something, it doesn't mean that it is appropriate at that particular time in order to do it. Hopefully I've been making some sense to folks out there. Think about how you deal with situations and really discern and think about all of the scenarios, outcomes that could possibly take place. And, just count the cost. A lot of people, they lack discernment. They don't know how to count the cost. They don't know how to, they just don't know how to do these things. And it's a pretty sad deal, because if you don't, it can literally be a disaster. Sometimes we got to know when to stay our place. Sometimes we got to know when to hold our tongue. Sometimes we got to know when to shut up and leave things alone. Let things play out. Even with our friends. You know how many times you've heard stories of people between friends and the guys say, something may have happened in their marriage or in their life, and they went to jail and or whatever it is that they may happen, and they went to their friend and they said, well, why didn't you tell me? Say, brother, you know what I'm saying? You probably, or I just discerned that you were not in a place to receive my words. So I just left it alone. But at the same time, I knew if a situation would transpire or develop, I'd be there for you. And now I'm here for you. and that other individual, a friend, says, hey, hey, I get it, I understand, but I appreciate the fact that you're here for me now, thereby strengthening that friendship. Hopefully I was able to say something that stimulated thought. Let me get in here and spend some more Federal Reserve notes and lows. Y'all have a blessed day. Discern your friend. Deal with things appropriately. Shalom.